Hello and welcome to FPL Mates, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2020-21 season. My name is Dan and today we're going to be doing for you a Game Week 24 buy, sell, keep, avoid video, the flagship series of FPL Mates. So really excited to get into this. Sorry this video is out a little bit later than usual. The only reason I'm recording this and setting this video out so late is because I wanted to wait for the FA Cup fixtures to finish just so we got a bit more clarification, because right now the FA Cup fixtures are really going to define so many of our moves during the next couple of game weeks. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But before we get started, quickly like the video if you like it, subscribe if you're new around here, and a quick word from our sponsor today. And our sponsor, of course, is as usual OneFootball. Now, for those of you who don't know what OneFootball is, it's a great app and website for all things football. Now, I personally use OneFootball, the mobile app, to check lineup scores for Premier League games, for FA Cup games a little bit more recently as well. We'll definitely be checking OneFootball for the FA Cup results over the next couple of days because it is going to be important. And also they've got plenty of football news and gossip on there for you as well. So if you like your football, check it out, completely free. Check out the link in my description. Why not? Completely free. So very quickly, buys are players you probably don't have but you should consider bringing in. Sells are players you probably have but should consider removing. Keeps are players that you probably have and should keep, and avoids are players that you probably don't have but should also avoid getting in these players. The potential traps there that you don't want to be bringing into your team. Now, the big word for this whole game week, probably for the next couple of game weeks to be fair, but right now what we're thinking is save your transfers for as late as possible in this game week. By the end of Thursday, we're going to have a really good idea of who's going to have a double game week and when they're going to have a double game week. Now, game week 29 is going to be a blank game week. A lot of fixtures from game week 29 are going to be moved to game week 26, where we're going to see some double game weeks. Plenty of teams, and it basically is a situation of whoever goes through in the FA Cup, slash if your game week 29 opponent goes through in the FA Cup this week, that means you're going to be blanking in game week 29 and you're going to be playing twice in game week 26. So there's a little bit still to see here. So for example, we know that Manchester United now, they're going to have a double game week in 26 and they're going to blank in game week 29. And we can see that West Ham, because they're ditched out of the cup, they're going to be playing only one game in game week 26, so we wouldn't be really looking to get West Ham players in, but they're also going to be playing in game week 29. So later down the line, we'll be looking at West Ham players again, but for now, not so much, because we do want to target all of those players who are going to have these double game weeks. And then there's more double game weeks going to be announced within the next few days to make things even more confusing, and then we've had some announced already last week. So it's all a bit crazy. Try and stick with me, guys. I'm just going to try and give my best to advise, and then later on in the week we can have a bit more of a rundown on the now certain double game weeks, which, well, not for completely certain, but like I said, at the end of the week we'll know a lot more about it after all the FA Cup games are played. So let's throw ourselves in with a buy, because I think we've been speaking a little bit too long. You're here for the buy, sell, keeps and avoids. Let's do a buy, and the first buy today is Gundogan. Now it's time for you guys, the final resistors, to join the hashtag Gundogan. He is 6 million now. When I first brought up Gundogan on this channel, he was 5.5 million. And now he's 6 million. So you can tell already so many people have brought him in. But there's a few of you guys who seem to have resisted bringing him in. He's got to come in. So he's Gundogan for Man City. He's got a double game week this game week. You know, that's really good. So straight away, we go straight in with Gundogan on a double game week 24. Lovely. Then he's got pretty much a guaranteed double game week in game week 26. It's all but guaranteed. You know, I can't see it happening any other way, but, you know, we'll know after the FA Cup games a little bit more anyway. But then he's also got a really good chance of another double game week somewhere, just somewhere. Maybe it's game week 27. So we're looking at potentially several double game weeks all in this space of a very short time for Manchester City. So if you're not on the Manchester City triple up yet, let me tell you guys, it's time to triple up on Man City. Now, you know, I've been saying for ages, the Man City triple up is going to be essential. It is essential. Now more than ever, this is your last chance to get on the train, I suppose. But for any of those of you who aren't there yet, come on, guys. You know it makes sense. So when are we ever going to have, you know, a team with a potential of 3 double game weeks in the space of 4 game weeks? It really is insane. That it doesn't happen very often. So Gundogan, he's kind of the one most looking at, just because, as I keep saying, on form, Gundogan is quite literally the best football player in the entire Premier League. I truly believe that, and you can get him for 6 million. It's kind of the biggest no-brainer of FPL right now. Now, this game week, City play Spurs and Everton. Not amazing fixtures, but City are literally beating anyone right now, and everyone. And the Gundog is literally kind of their best player right now, attacking player, full stop. Like, there's no real getting around it, and that's kind of reflected in the way that he's playing as a false 9 player, rather than, you know, you typically think of him as a box-to-box midfielder, maybe a deep line playmaker. He's playing as a false 9 essentially in that Man City team. Or if you prefer some stats rather than some eye tests, let's have a look at some stats. Over the past 6 game weeks for City, well, actually I think it's 5 weeks and 5 game weeks and 6 actual weeks. So for City, Gundogan has 16 shots, 11 in the box, 7 on target, 6 big chances. That's 1 big chance per game. That's the best in the league, by the way. Expected goals of 3.65, but he's so clinical right now that he's grabbed 6 goals from that XG. He's the best in the league on XG and actual goals as well. So he's the best in so many attacking stats, particularly the goal scoring stats, which is what gets you the points in FPL, of course. But on top of that, does have a bit of creativity there as well. 13 key passes, 2 big chances created, 1.69 expected assists, and he's grabbed an assist at all. Now, he's also the #1 over this period for points. So no one scored more than him. Expected points, so he is performing as expected as well. Bonus points, so getting all the bonus points as well. Even the bonus point system ranks him way, way higher than any other player right now. He's just been unreal. He really has been unreal. Now, the only downside to Gundogan are that maybe some easier fixtures have kind of flattered him a little bit, although he did do the business against Liverpool, so I wouldn't really pay too much attention to that. He has played a lot of football though, so maybe he's due a rest at some point. Let's see if he gets rested in the FA Cup, but you know what? None of that is enough to put me off him personally. You don't drop a man in this kind of form. He's going to be playing some games, even if he plays, 5 or 6 out of these 7 games, then that's kind of good enough for me. No-brainer. If you haven't done already, it's time to just accept that it's time to get the Gundog in your team. Let's get him in, boys. My second buy is Pope. Now, I don't usually recommend goalkeeper transfers, so you know this is serious. Honestly, usually I would say don't waste a transfer on a goalkeeper. It's a little bit different. So, Pope, he's got a double game week this game week versus a Crystal Palace team without Zaha. By the way, Crystal Palace, I don't think they've even scored a goal this season while Zaha has not been on the pitch. Maybe that's a little bit harsh because Zaha has spent a lot of time on the pitch, but they really, really do struggle across the board statistically without Zaha. Maybe that's not quite accurate that they've not scored a single goal, but certainly I know for a fact that their attacking stats are kind of halved by Zaha's absence over the season. And it's kind of obvious why. Zaha consistently is their best performing attacking player. We've spoken about this before when I've got Zaha in my team all these many times. I've sort of spoken about how Zaha is so miles ahead of anyone else in terms of attacking output for Crystal Palace. So really, really bad Crystal Palace are going to be without Zaha. But, even so, Crystal Palace have the lowest expected goals of any team in the league over the past 5 game weeks, with an expected goals of 0.66 per 90. Now, a few of those games were including having Zaha as well, so really not a good sign for Crystal Palace. Now, we've got Fulham, who have a slightly better expected goals, but because they have less attacking quality in their team, they can't live up to their expected goals, which is kind of proven by the fact that Fulham have an expected goals per 90 of 1.16 over the past 5, but their actual goals per 90 is the lowest in the league at 0.5. Their entire team only scores once every other game. So we have here the 2 easiest fixtures in the league for keeping clean sheets. The lowest expected goals in the league and the lowest actual goals in the league. These 2 teams play Burnley in one game. They play Fulham, play against Burnley and Nick Pope in one game week. Wow. So, lots of opportunities for clean sheets. So for Pope, clean sheets means a good score, right? So he's going to play both games. That's 4 points guaranteed right there. Easy peasy. Now, assume he gets at least 1 clean sheet. That's another 4 points. So we're already on 8 points. He gets 3 saves over this double game week. And then maybe a bonus point as well. Just 1 bonus point. That's all he'll need. And we're already on 10 points. That was so easy. We got to 10 points through playing 2 games, getting 1 clean sheet against the 2 easiest teams in the league. and just a couple of saves and just one measly bonus point. And we're already on 10. You know, throw in the unlikely or very, you know, it's still very possible, but unlikely possibility of, you know, 2 clean sheets, maybe a couple extra saves, maybe a couple extra bonus points. We're suddenly looking at a monster haul. So there is actually a surprisingly high ceiling on this one, and we could be talking about a big score here. But wait, there is more. There's more. So it's not just about this game week. There is more appeal to Burnley. So Burnley is one of only a handful of teams that have a chance of a second double game week. You know, just like I was speaking about City having more than one double game week in the near future, Burnley could have one too. Now, this is probably going to be in game week 26. It hasn't been confirmed yet, and it is going to rely on Leicester beating Brighton in the FA Cup on Wednesday evening. So this means Burnley's game week 29 fixture at home against Leicester will need to be moved to an earlier date, i.e. game week 26. So we have the second highest scoring goalkeeper in the entire game right now. He's the top scoring goalkeeper from last season, so we know he's a genuine FPL asset long term. He has not only one, but potentially 2 double game weeks coming up in the next few weeks. This one being an incredibly favourable one for a goalkeeper. And, you know, add it all together, it just sounds amazing. And if you, even if you're put off by his price, you can always wildcard him out once this period of doubles is over and you want to balance your squad out again. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to wildcard after all these doubles and blanks and stuff to try and get back to a normal team. What a great addition to your FPL team Nick Pope can be right now. So let's continue on to some sells. I'm going to start you off with Ben Chilwell. Now, don't let Chilwell start last game week against Sheffield United tempt you to keep him. That was kind of the exception, not the rule. Alonso needed a rest. This was an easy game on paper. Chilwell fills in for one game. He's going to be straight back out the team next couple of games probably. At 5.9 million, you don't really get much more premium than that for a defender, do you? You can't really have him wasting away on your bench, so it's time to get rid. Even when he does play, he's not really contributing towards anything, so the best you can really hope for with Chilwell right now is, one, pray that he plays the odd occasional game, and in that occasional game he gets a clean sheet, because that's all you're getting. And for 5.9 million, no way, man. So just 4 shots, none in the box over his last 5 starts for Chelsea. So this isn't even the last 5 game weeks. I'm talking literally his last 5 starts. He's only had 4 shots and 0 key passes. No big chances created, no any chances created whatsoever. He's got expected goals of 0.05 and an expected assist of 0.06 over 5 games. He really has just dropped off a cliff since earlier on in the season, and he just doesn't have that appeal anymore. So for this game week, I would be looking at, you know, Ben Mee from Burnley as a replacement. You know, we've spoken a little bit about Burnley and their potential for clean sheets this game week, and then maybe them getting some more double game weeks. We'll find out about that tomorrow, won't we? You might have already found out, you know, or if you haven't doubled up on the Man City defence yet, you definitely want to be going for a Diaz or a Cancelo, maybe Stones if you're feeling a little bit cheap. Luke Shaw is also an option, but I think we probably want to be focusing more on the immediate double game weeks, which means, you know, City, Burnley, maybe Leeds is kind of slightly better there, but yeah, there is definitely plenty of options if you're taking out a defender right now. There really is. So next sell is Robertson. Now, I have to put Robertson again. Like, come on, guys. Some of you in the comments, every time I put Robertson in as a sell or an avoid or something like that, I get a lot of pushback on this one. But I really, really want to try and convince you. I really want to try it. So hopefully you give me the chance here. So I'm not questioning Robertson's ability. I'm questioning his insanely high price of 7.3 million, which is just way too much. And I'm questioning his awful form and his team's awful form as well. So that's 5 blanks in a row now for Robertson. All in a row. How many more blanks does he need before, you know, some people will get rid of Robertson and replace him, downgrade him to something else? And I don't care if you're a Liverpool fan, you know, a Hull City fan, a Scottish left-back enthusiast, or maybe you just love people born in 1994 Glasgow. When we play FPL, we have to deal in facts and not prejudices. Now, I'm an Arsenal fan. You won't find an Arsenal player anywhere near my FPL team right now because they're just not right for FPL right now, the Arsenal players. How, you know, I would love to have an Aubameyang ripping up my left wing, but I don't want a player taking up half my budget, sitting there getting 2 points a game. Now, does that ring any bells? Because that's just exactly what Robertson is doing right now. Now, he's a fabulous football player. If he was cheaper, Liverpool were better in form, or if he had better fixtures, fine. But as I keep saying, and these are the comparisons I keep making and they keep proving to be correct, I keep saying Jayden Bogle is a better option. And Jayden Bogle, what did he do? He scored the other week, which is not even surprising. When I looked sort of at the amount of shots, it was already obvious that Bogle had a better attacking output than Robertson. I spoke about Craig Dawson having a better attacking output than Robertson. And what do you know? He scored like 2 goals over the same, 4 game weeks. I think two goals in the last 4 game weeks. Absolutely insane. And these are the sort of the extreme examples I used several weeks ago, who are each like 4.2, 4.3, 4.4 million, of players who are actually looking likely to outperform Robertson right now. And, it's proving to be true every time. And now I know these are extreme examples, I get that. But it's kind of proof that you can get so much more for your money if you look in the right places, if you consider the underlying stats, and you kind of understand that, okay, Robertson has a fantastic reputation, but is he doing it right now? And the answer to that is unfortunately not. So it is time to move him on. Move to Ben Mee, move to a second Man City defender. Use the freed up money to invest elsewhere in your team. Maybe you want to do a bench boost soon. Perfect. You can free up some money, take out Robertson, and use that money to upgrade some of your other bench options. There is really so many opportunities here. I just don't want you guys to get caught out by having, these tricky, trappy players in your teams. On to some keeps, and we'll start you off with Jack Grealish, just because every single game week it seems like Grealish is a player amongst the top sold players pretty much every single game week. And I know usually there's just as many people buying him as selling him, but for those of you who are selling him, and there is a lot of you guys out there, I don't think he should be the guy that you're sacrificing right now. Obviously, you've got transfer moves in mind, otherwise you wouldn't be taking out Grealish, but let me try and convince you that Grealish is not the guy to sacrifice for any transfer plans that you might have. So, first of all, Grealish, double game week in game week 26, super, super likely. We'll know more after the FA Cup games, of course, but it's really, really likely. But then, Villa have also got 2 other games that are currently unscheduled that need to fit in somewhere. At least one of these 2 games, and these 2 games are against Spurs and Everton, they're very likely to fit in somewhere between game week 25 and game week 28. These games have to fit in somewhere. So basically, we're looking at, again, another team, Aston Villa, with multiple double game weeks, all coming up in a short period of time. This is what we really, really like. All of them are going to be announced right at the last second. You're not going to have weeks and weeks and weeks to prepare for this. They are going to be sprung upon us. We'll find out 1 week before, 2 weeks before. Oh, by the way, Aston Villa, they've got a double game week coming up. But we can anticipate this kind of thing now by doing, a little bit of research into the fixtures and the scheduling and looking up excellent spreadsheets by, Ben Crellin. But there is information out there that tells us already that we know Aston Villa have got a very good chance of multiple game weeks coming up, and they're going to be sprung on you, and you're going to be in a situation where you're going to say to yourself, I wish I didn't take out Grealish from my team. I wish I just kept him in that one more game week to just find out that now he's got these doubles. And you will kick yourself. You'll kick yourself if you take him out your team. I really, truly believe that. So we know we want Villa players because of the potential double game week players. So is Grealish still worth his weight in FPL gold? Well, the stats say yes. So in his past 5 game weeks, 6 shots, 4 in the box, 1 big chance, 1.08 expected goals, 1 goal there. It's okay, that's good enough. 20 key passes, this is where we really like Grealish. He's a very creative player. 2 big chances created, 1.72 expected assists, and 3 assists. Now, he has been involved in 57% of Villa's goals during this period, during this 5 game week period. That's insane. More than half of the goals that Villa score, Jack Grealish will be involved in, or he has done over this period anyway. You can see that he's demanding the ball from his teammates. He wants to create, he wants to score, he wants to be Villa, So you don't necessarily need to buy him in right now, but if you've got him in your team already, I think you've got to keep him, unless you've got a solid plan to bring him back. And remember, we've got limited transfers to use for all of these double game weeks. I think you kind of just have to keep him. Even if you've got another idea, Grealish kind of has to stay. So my next keep is Antonio. Now, I've seen a lot of people ditching Antonio already. Do you really want to take out one of the league's most informed forwards in the Premier League before a game against last place Sheffield United? Now, it seems like a few people may be knee-jerking him out after the blank. Your 6 million forwards, this kind of level of forwards, not going to score every game. He's done really well. You can't expect him to score every single game. Occasionally, he is going to blank. I can't really think of a player that is really obvious that I'd rather have for Game Week 24 specifically. Maybe Gabriel Jesus, if you're taking a real risk there. I don't know if I'd do that. Calvert-Lewin, okay, maybe I kind of see why you might take out Antonio for Calvert-Lewin, but is that really enough of a difference to make this transfer rather than a different one? I just think probably not. Now, no forward has scored more points over the past 5 game weeks than Antonio, and only Watkins, who is far less clinical and less likely to fulfill his underlying stats, has Antonio beat on underlying stats among forwards as well. So over the past 5 games, Antonio has 17 shots, 13 of those in the box, 5 big chances. Only Cavani beats that amongst forwards. Obviously, we know Gundogan has 6 as well. 2.83 expected goals. Wow. 6 key passes, 2 big chances created, 1.52 expected assists. You know, he's also got in that 2 goals, slightly underperforming, 3 assists, slightly overperforming. So overall, maybe that kind of balances out a little bit. But overall, we're seeing a lot of expected goal contributions right now. Why would you want to get rid of him in the game against Sheffield United? But there is a little bit more to this story. So although I would definitely say Antonio is a keep, there's maybe another side to him. And that side is the avoid side. Now, although if I had Antonio in my team, I would be keeping him right now because his stats do look fabulous. I would not be bringing him into my team. In fact, I definitely would not be bringing in him or pretty much any other West Ham player into my team. And now the reason for that is because West Ham have just been knocked out of the FA Cup, which means their chances of a double game week in game week 26 has just plummeted. They're not having a double game week in game week 26. They're going to be one of the few teams that doesn't have a double game week, which is kind of the opposite of the kind of player we're looking for. Really, right now, the only players we want to be focusing our attention on are players who have all of these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful double game weeks in the immediate future. Antonio, West Ham, they're not going to be part of that. So we don't really want to be looking to bring them in. And even if you look at their game week 26 fixture, when everyone else is having a nice double, who have West Ham got? Well, they've got Manchester City. Who have West Ham got in game week 25? Well, they've got Tottenham Hotspur. So you've got this okay game against Sheffield United in game week 24. Arguably, you keep him for 25, but you get to 26, and you're probably not going to want to have Antonio anywhere near your team because you're going to want to focus your attention on the double game week players, and Antonio is not one of them. You only have limited transfers, remember, from now until the big double game week in game week 26. You only got a limited amount of transfer to get the double game week players in, so you need to be focusing your transfers on those players rather than the players who we already know are not going to have a double game week, of which of course West Ham fills that boost. Now, you know what I would say is focus your transfers in the immediate future on Burnley, Manchester City, Leeds, and then for game week 26 we want to be looking at the huge roster of doubling players. Now we're going to find out all about this by the end of this round of FA Cup fixtures. But Antonio, although I keep him if I already have him, he is not an area you want to be focusing your transfers in on, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay guys, let's finish you off with the avoid of Ashley Westwood. Big trap here. I know a lot of people are looking to get any double game week players possible right now, but you know, there's a difference between just taking any double game week players and picking the right double game week players. Now Westwood is kind of a big trap. Your classic corner cutting, you know, you're only bringing him in because he's so cheap and you're trying to cut a corner here and not actually take advantage of the double game week properly. Remember, when you buy a player, you have to keep him. You're taking a player for the use of one game week only, a 5.3 million player, and then you're probably never going to want to play him in your team again. That kind of seems a little bit pointless considering you can know 5.3 million buys you Rafinha at Leeds, who you actually would want to keep in your team long term as well. So Westwood kind of seems a little bit silly. And there is more to it why it's so silly. And the main reason why I think Westwood is silly is because he hasn't taken a single shot in the Premier League since game week 13. So that's 10, 11, depending on how you want to look at it, game weeks without even shooting the ball towards the goal. Nothing. Not a single thing. So You're not going to get goals out of this guy. You're really not. He's a defensive midfielder. You know, by bringing him in, you're breaking the golden rule of never bring in defensive midfielders into your FPL team. But let's run over the statistics because there are some pluses to Westwood, to be fair. So, 0 shots, 0.00 expected goals. You know, that's obvious. 0 actual goals. Kind of still obvious at this point, just in case you wanted that further clarification of the ultimate lack of goal threat that Westwood provides. 8 key passes. Now, that's okay. It's still not much more than 1 key pass per game. 3 big chances created over this period. So 1 big chance created every other game for an expected assist of 1.38. But it's in a team that isn't particularly prolific, doesn't score a lot of goals. He's only got 1 assist out of that as well. Over 6 games to have 1 assist, you know, midfielders get their points from goals. They get the bonus points from, you know, goals and you know, attacking output. And unfortunately, Westwood is just not really that kind of player. He's not really good enough for your FPL teams. The ceiling is just so low. So Westwood, he could potentially score, you know, 4 points for playing over the double game week. This game week, maybe he scores another point for a clean sheet. He's on a 5-pointer. Maybe you get lucky, he gets an assist somehow. You know, it is possible technically. And he scores, you know, 8 or 9 points. But that's the ceiling. 9 points is kind of the ultimate score you can get out of Westwood. And this is for 1 game week only, right? That ceiling is so low compared to Burnley's defenders, Manchester City players, DCL, who are all much likelier to score much higher. So it's a case of priorities. And remember, you will have to keep Westwood after. And outside of a double game week, you're never going to want to play Westwood again. This player's just going to sit in your squad. He's not going to fit in anywhere. You're going to wish you had Rafinha for the same price. Just kind of doesn't work, unfortunately. So it's important to use your transfer wisely in the run up to this double game week, and the next few weeks could really make or break your FPL season. So don't waste your opportunities by taking silly short-term punts just because you don't want to spend that extra bit of money for a genuinely great option. Quick summary today: target City, target Burnley defense, maybe an attacker there, probably not though. Maybe DCL you want in your team. Forget pretty much everyone else this game week in terms of transfers in. Wait until Thursday before you make your transfers, and that is so important, guys. Wait until after Thursday night's FA Cup fixtures, and don't sacrifice your long-term good options in order to get short-term players in. You will find a way where you don't have to sacrifice your good long-term players, particularly if they potentially have double game weeks in the weeks to come as well in game week 26. You don't want to sacrifice those players. You want to keep them unless you have a great plan to get them back. Maybe you've got a wild card plan or whatever. Thank you for watching this video today, guys. Much appreciated. If you did enjoy it, please do give a big thumbs up. If you really liked it and you're not done already, please do consider subscribing. I'm going to do another video later on in the week where we're going to properly go over the options from the doubling players in game week 24. We're going to have a proper rundown. We'll do that when the FA Cup games are decided, so we can talk about them as slightly longer term options as well, because there may well be situations where you'd have to keep these players in your team for a very long time, depending on your wildcard situation, what you want to plan to do on there. So I do want to get the proper lowdown on that one, but buy, sell, keep, avoid videos, that's an early week video, but we'll do the specific this game week doubles rundown later on in the week, so do stay tuned for that. Team selection to come, captain video to come. Obviously we'll do a deadline stream at the end of the week as well. Looking forward to all of that, but other than that, guys, I'm not going to go on for too much longer because this video is absurdly long, as it always is every single week. I hope you did enjoy it anyway, but thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.